Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of the January 2019 Algebra 2 Regents. In this video, I'm going to go over questions 13 to 24. Remember, if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions, leave it in the comment section below. Okay, the function f of x equals a cos b of x plus c is plotted on the graph shown below. What are the values of a, b, and c? Okay, so the first thing we have to do is know what a, b, and c stand for. So a stands for the amplitude, b stands for frequency, and c stands for midline. I like finding the midline first. So the midline, you're going to have to do max plus min over 2. So you have to look at the y values of the max and the min. So this is the greatest y value, so this will be called the max. And this is the least y value, so it'll be called the min. So the max is 5, the min is 1, and then you divide that by 2. So 6 over 2 equals 3. So we know it's either going to be choice 1 or choice 4. We could cross out 3 and 2. Okay, now we're going to find the amplitude. The amplitude formula is going to be max minus midline. So the maximum is 5, and the midline is 3. So the amplitude is 2. So we know the answer is going to be choice 1, but let's just see how we would find the frequency. So in order to find the frequency, you're going to have to know this formula. So the formula is period equals 2 pi over b. So what do we know here? We have to find out what the period is going to be in order to find out what the frequency is. So the period is how long it takes to complete one complete cycle. So let's start at this minimum, and then let's go to this minimum. How long is that period? That one complete cycle is going to be pi over 3. So from here to here is pi over 3. So that's the frequency. So let's put in the formula. Period equals 2 pi over b. So we know that the period is pi over 3. So now we could cross multiply. So 2 pi times 3 is 6 pi equals pi b. So we divide it by pi, and we get frequency equals 6. That's why choice 1 is the answer. Which equation represents the equation of the parabola with focus -3, 3 and directrix y equals 7? So there's a formula that we're going to have to know for this problem. The formula is y equals 1 over 4p parentheses x minus h squared plus k. So the first thing we should do is draw it out. So just make any graph on your paper and plot the focus and directrix. Okay, so -3, 3. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And y equals 7. So y equals 7, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be right there, y equals 7. Okay, so now we have to find out where the vertex is. So the vertex is going to be in the middle of the directrix and the focus. So let's count how many spots, how many points away the focus is from the directrix. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's 4 spots away. So in the middle of 4, so 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2. So in the middle is going to be 2. So count 2 spaces from the focus to get to the vertex. 1, 2. Okay. So the vertex is -1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So vertex -3, comma, 5. So you're going to have to know that to put into the equation, because that's h and k. The x value is h and the y value is k. It's a positive 5, sorry. Okay, so now we have to know what is p. So we actually found out p already. We know that the focus and directrix are 2 points away from the vertex. So p equals 2. In order to find that, you could do what we just did, 7 minus 3 over 2, and you get 2. Okay, so now what we have to do is, why don't we just graph the equation just to make it easier. So from the vertex, it would be going like that. Okay, and it would be going like that because directrix is at the top. So when the directrix is at the top, the parabola is going to point downward. That's definitely good to know with this problem. So y equals 1 over 4 times 2, parentheses, x minus -3. A negative and a negative equals a positive, so x plus 3 squared plus k is 5. So now it looks like we're done, but we forgot one thing. We have to add a negative sign in front of the 1 because it's a downward facing parabola. So because it's facing downward, there's going to be a negative. So now let's see which choice is answered. So -1 over 8, x plus 3 squared plus 5. Alright, -3 squared. That's going to be choice 3. Alright, 15. What is the solution set of the equation 2 over 3x plus 1 equals 1 over x minus 6x over 3x plus 1? Okay, so the first thing we have to notice about this is that these 2 both have the same denominator. So because they have the same denominator, it's easy for us to say 2 minus negative 6x. So here, you'll see what I mean. X plus 1 equals negative 6x over 3x plus 1. So we just have to get, so let's add 6x to this side. So then we could add 6x here. So then it would be 2 plus 6x over 3x plus 1. We can do that because they have the same denominator. And then you set that equal to 1 over x. Alright, now we cross multiply. X times 2 plus 6x, 2x plus 6x squared equals 3x plus 1. So, now what we have to do is subtract 3x and subtract the 1. So then you get 2x minus 3x plus 6x squared minus 1 equals 0. So you could put those together and do 6x squared minus 1x minus 1 equals 0. So now we're going to factor. So this is how I factor. I'll do 6 times negative 1. So I'll say, what multiplies to negative 6 and adds to negative 1? So, if you're doing what I'm doing, you'll have to start off with 6x, 6x. So, negative 3 and positive 2 do this. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So now we're going to have to fix this. So divided by 3, and we get 2x minus 1. And then we have to also simplify this. So you get 3x plus 1. So now 2x minus 1, oh, remember the equals 0. Don't forget that. 2x minus 1 equals 0. So add 1. 2x equals 1 divided by 2. X equals 1/2. And then 3x plus 1 equals 0. So minus 1, 3x equals negative 1 divided by 3, x equals negative 1/3. So we got 1/2 and negative 1/3. So it looks like choice 1 will be our answer. However, our answer is only going to be 1/2 and not negative 1/3. Here's why it's not going to be negative 1/3. So if we plugged negative 1/3 in, over here, 3 times negative 1/3 plus 1. Let's see what that equals. 3 plus negative 1/3 plus 1. I'm sorry, I meant 3 times negative 1/3. 3 times negative 1/3 plus 1 gives you 0. So a denominator can never equal 0. And with negative 1/3 it does, and with 1/2 it doesn't. So your only acceptable answer is 1/2. That one was very tricky. Number 16, Savannah just got contact lenses. Her doctor said she can wear them 2 hours the first day, and she can increase the length of time by 30 minutes each day. If this pattern continues, which formula would not be appropriate to determine the length of time in either minutes or hours? Minutes or hours she could wear her contact lenses on the nth day. So this is going to be arithmetic because it's increasing the same time every day by 30 minutes, plus 30, plus 30, plus 30. Okay? Or plus 0.5, plus 0.5, plus 0.5. So that's half an hour. Half an hour is the same thing as 30 minutes. So it has a common difference. So let's look at each of the choices. So choice 1 is saying the previous term plus 30. That works because it's increasing 30 each day. So you could put a check there. Let's get choice 2. 90 plus 30n. So we're starting at 90 minutes, which is 2 hours, and then adding 30 each day, and end is the number of days. So say if it was the second day, n plus 30 times 2. This one does work. Now let's look at choice 3. A of 1 equals 2, A of n equals n minus 1 plus 0.5. So this one's in hours. So it starts with 2 hours, which is 2 hours, yeah. So it says starts at 2 hours, and it's 2 hours plus 0.5 hours, which is 30 minutes. So that one works. Just going back to choice 2, if you're wondering why 90 did work, it said she can wear them 2 hours. 90 minutes is not 2 full hours, but it's less than 2 hours. So she can wear them less than 2 hours on the first day. So that's why that's correct again. Sorry about that. Now let's look at choice 4. So choice 4 is saying she's gonna wear them for 2.5 hours. Where that can't be correct. She can only wear them for 2 hours at max on the first day. So that's why choice 4 is the correct answer. Okay, number 17. If f of x equals a to the x power, where a is greater than 1, then the inverse of the function is... Okay, so there's a very important rule you have to memorize with this. So, a regular exponential function would be, let's just use 3 of x. And the inverse with the log would be y equals log base 3 of x. So this number will be in the basis place, and the exponent will be right there, just as the 3 was, in this case. So using this formula, which one would be the correct answer? So a of x. Well, if we're using this formula, a of x log base a of x. So choice 3 is going to be your correct answer. Alright. Number 18. Kellyanne has $20,000 to invest. She puts half of the money into an account that grows at an annual rate of 0.9% compounded monthly. At the same time, she puts the other half of the money onto an account that grows continuously at an annual rate of 0.8%. Which function represents the value of Kellyanne's investments after T years? Okay. So this one really isn't that hard. It looks overwhelming, but it's not. So let's just underline the ones that are compounded. So the formula that you have to know for this is compound interest and compounded continuously. So let's start with compound interest. A equals P parentheses 1 plus R over N to the N times T power. So the A stands for the total amount. P is the principal amount. So the principal amount in this case is 10,000 because she's putting half of it in this account. And then 1 plus the rate is going to be 0.9%, which as a decimal is 0.009. And the N is the N is how many times per year it's compounded. So each month, so that's 12 times per year. And then N is the number of times again per year, 12 times, and then we don't know how many years, so that's T. So, knowing that, we're going to plug that into our calculator, what's in parentheses, to know which one we're going to get. Alright. 1 plus alpha y equals 0.009 over 12. We're going to get 1.00075. So choice 4 is clearly your answer. But how would you do the second part? So compounded continuously, you use the formula A equals P-E-R-T. P is principal, R is rate, and T is time. We don't know the time. The rate is going to be 0.8%, which would be 0.008 as a decimal. So right off the bat, we know the answer is going to be choice 4. Yeah, so you really didn't have to, if you knew compound interest, you really didn't have to know the second part, but if you did, you could just kind of verify that it was your answer. Alright, number 19. Which graph represents a polynomial function that contains x squared plus 2x plus 1 as a factor? So, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to graph what it says the factor is. So, x squared, that's not x squared. X squared plus 2x plus 1 graph. Okay, so the root of this function is negative 1 and negative 1. How do we know that? Because when the functions like this, x-axis, we know that this means it's a double root when it's barely touching the x-axis. So there's a double root at negative 1. So we see that choice 1 is going to be the correct answer. You might be saying, why isn't it choice 3? It's not choice 3 because it's above the x-axis. And the root is not exactly at, and there's no double root at negative 1. There's one root at negative 1, but there's no double. So that's why 19 is choice 1. Alright, number 20. Sodium iodide 131 used to treat certain medical conditions has a half-life of 1.8 hours. The data below shows the amount of sodium iodide 131 round to the nearest thousandth as the dose fades over time. What is the approximate amount of sodium iodide 131 will remain in the body after 18 hours? Alright. So, one second. Alright. So the first thing we're going to do that we have to know is half-lives means it's halving every single time. So we know this is going to be exponential decay because it's halving. It's going to be decaying exponentially. It's decaying exponentially because it's going to be half, 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 half. It's going to be like half of this value, then half of this value, then half of that value. So yeah, so that's why we're using exponential decay. And the formula for exponential decay is A parentheses 1 minus R to the t power. So what's the initial half-life? So to find that, do 139 times 2, and you get 278. And that's the value of iodide 131. That's without the half-life. So that's 0 half-lives. So 278 parentheses 1 minus, we don't know yet, t. So the rate, we actually do know. It's going to be 0.5 because of the half-lives. Because of half-life. Half-life is 0.5. So, because divided by 2, the rate's 0.5. Half-life, half of 1, 0.5. And then time. Well, we know the time is going to be 18 hours. But we have to keep in mind it has a half-life of 1.8. So it's going to be 18 over 1.8. Let me write that as the power. 18 over 1.8. So that's the power. Because 18 half-lives, because there's 18 half-lives, and each half-life is 1.8 hours. We need to do that in this problem. So, now, we're going to put that into our calculator and get an answer. Let's see. 278 parentheses 1 minus 0.5 to the, close parenthesis, to the 8 over 1.8. 18 to the 18. Let me just start that one over. Sorry about that. 278, parenthesis, 1 minus 0.5, close parenthesis, to the 18 over 1.8 power. Okay. And then you do equals. So that's 0.7. So that's 0.71. So 0.71. All right. Number 21. Which expressions are equivalent to x squared minus 4x over 2x where x is not equal to 0? All right. So the first thing we should do is act like factoring this. So what do x squared minus 4x have in common? X. Then in the parentheses, x minus 4 sets. If you were to distribute, you get x squared minus 4x, which is the same thing, over 2x. So what you can do with that is you could cross out the x here and cross out the x here. So that's x minus 4 over 2, which is choice 2. So the second option is definitely going to be right. So we know it's not just 2 and 3. Alright, so now we're going to see which other choices it could be. So let's do x over 2 and then negative 4 over 2. So x over 2. And what is negative 4 over 2? That's negative 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Minus 2. And that is choice 1. So choice 1's correct too. So we know it's not 2 only. We knew that at the beginning. Now let's do, well, see if it's the third one. So, let's look at that for a second. X minus 1 over 2 minus 3 over 2. So, they have this same denominator, like in the other problem they have the same denominator. So, we can do x minus 1 minus 3. So let's do same change. Same with this. And the sign was minus, so we're going to change that. Wait a second. So, hold on, sorry. X minus 1 minus 3. Okay, yeah, let's do same change. Same change. So that's going to equal negative 4. X minus negative 4. And then over 2, because the common denominator. And that is the same thing as our second choice. So that means that that is also correct. So choice 4 is your answer. Alright, now let's look at number 22. Consider f of x equals 4x to the second power plus 6x minus 3 and p of x defined by the graph below. The difference between values of maximum of p and minimum of f is, Okay, so what's graphed is p of x. So the maximum, I think it's pretty clear that it's at 2, 1, 2, comma, 1, 2, 3, 2, comma, 5. But remember, we only need the y value for the maximum. So the max is equal to 5. So that's great. But now we have to find the minimum of x. So to do the minimum of x, so this is f of x right here. So 4x squared plus 6x minus 3. So we could use the formula x equals negative b over 2a to find the minimum of f. So, and you may be like, why is it x equals? Why are we doing x equals? We'll fix that at the end. So the b value is 6, and the a value is 4. So negative 6 over 2 times 4. So negative 6 over 8 divided by 2 divided by 2 equals negative 3 over 4. So that means f of negative 3 over 4 equals the minimum value. Because this is the x value, and we want to find the negative 3 over 4 is the x value. We want to find the y. So we could, to find that, go to our calculator. Let's go to y equals and type in 4x to the second power plus 6x minus 3. And so we typed it in. Now let's go to our table. Second graph to get the table. So we want in the x value section negative 3 over 4. However, our table is only going by ones. So we want to go to window. We want to go to second window to edit our table set. So the table currently is starting at 0 and going by ones. So let's change our table to going by 3 over 4 and starting at negative 3 over 4. Now let's see what happens. Go to second graph. Now let's go to negative 0.75, which is negative 3 over 4. And we see that the answer is going to be negative, not the answer, but for what the minimum of p of x is, the minimum of f of x is negative 5.25. So you're going to do 4 minus negative 5.25. Same, change. So 5.25 plus 4 equals 10.25. So your answer is choice 4. Alright, number 23, I didn't learn yet. So I'm gonna, in a different video, I'm gonna do number 23. Sorry about that. The correct answer for number 23 is choice 1, though. Again, I apologize for that. Alright, the last one, number 24. How many solutions exist for 1 over 1 minus x squared equals negative absolute value 3x minus 2 plus 5? Alright, so for this problem, you could go into your calculator. This problem is really not that difficult. It looks like it is, but with the calculator it's not. Alright, so go to y equals and type in alpha y equals 1 over 1 minus x squared in y1, and then y2, type in negative, to get absolute value, you're going to do math, number, and then choice 1 apps. So negative absolute value 3x minus 2, click out of that, and then plus 5. Alright, so now graph it, and we're going to see how many times they intersect. Alright, so I see 1 over here, 1 over here, 1 over here, and 1 over here 4 times. So that means 4 solutions. That's all for this video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, like and subscribe, because I'm going to be posting more Algebra 2 Regents videos. And feel free in the comment section to leave any suggestions and what other subjects I should do. Thanks for watching.